La 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 la, Benfica. La 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 la, Benfica. La 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 la, Benfica. O amor da minha vida. La 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 la, Benfica. La 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 la, Benfica.
That's too
la,
much.
La 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 la, Benfica. O amor da minha vida.
You're the first to do that, huh? And I can't believe it's like I'm thinking in the back of my head. Why is it taking so long to get that done on the show?
You know what? I was even thinking like the Portuguese national anthem, but I would just like
leave it for somebody else.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for someone else.
That's amazing.
I'm pretty
man.
proud. I'm pretty proud.
Derick, welcome to the show, man.
Manny, thanks for having us.
Oh, dude, it's great. It's great that you can fit it in. I know that we chat all the time, and it's good to have another Portuguese guy on the show because that hardly ever happens. Yeah. No, it's great. And actually, just off mic, we were just talking about how you know some of the boys from Avis. And like, it's good. It's good that everybody's networking and building relationships and, you know, liking people, right?
Yeah, because back, you know, I'd say about 10, 15 years ago, you know, it was cutthroat. No one really wanted to help one another, right? And I find that social media has really brought everyone together.
I
not
agree.
everyone together.
I know.
But
I'd agree.
More so than before.
But I think in the beginning of social media, because I think Toronto was one of the hubs.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird how nobody in Vancouver was really embracing social media. Right. I think it was mostly Toronto was a hub. Northeast in the U.S., Boston, New York was a hub,
right.
But not really the West Side. But in the beginning of social media, everybody was all friends. But then it became like high school again, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you're a dick and you're a dick and I don't like you. And then, but now I agree with you. Now it's kind of come full circle and go, listen, you're not so much of a dick.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like you because you do good work.
Of course.
And I want to hang out with you and I want to learn from you. And then also you're hiring me, right? So
Yep.
I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So it's good that it's like just, so actually we're getting way ahead. Derick DaCosta.
You got it.
I got to give out the deets here, man. So DLC installations, 10 years basically.
Yeah.
On
9
your
and
own.
a half on my own.
Nice, man. www.dlcinstallations.ca, info@dlcinstallations.ca, and on Facebook it's DLC Installations, and it's all DLC.
Twitter, Instagram.
It's all
DLC Installations.
And you still active on Facebook and Twitter and IG
Twitter,
for
not
sure.
so much. Twitter,
Yeah.
not so much, but Instagram, Facebook, I try to be as active as possible. I really like showing like the progress photos, progress videos, before and afters. You know, haven't been really crazy with the live reels and stuff like that, but I try my best. You know, I don't have anybody that, you know, does all that for me. I'm kind of like a one-man show. I've always been.
You're either all in or you're not.
Yeah, and that's just my OCD.
No, and I mean, I use Twitter just for my tweets, my
quotations,
quotes,
yeah.
and then I just for announcing the shows to get them out there. I do the same thing with Facebook, but it's IG basically, and then just go from there. And then I'm not the same. Like everyone's, I can't spend that much time on it, man.
Yeah,
like you got to figure out other things as well too. So
right.
I want to just do a shout out. So Paul from Mac Constructions Inc. and one of the top guys in the city that does all self-leveling materials, and he'll pump it in. And guy's an artist of his game, man. That's all it is. It's just when you talk to him, he knows what he's doing. He's been through it all. He's learned quite a bit. He's used the best products. He had a scare last year because they just abandoned a Geely Screed.
Oh, wow.
Lafarge just said,
No more.
No more.
Oh.
We can't get the byproduct metal that's used
inside the Screed.
So we're not going to continue the product.
Oh.
So he actually, in the course of, I think he was given 2 or 3 weeks, we're done. No more material. And his whole business was around that material. And then he shifted gears and changed everything, went to a different supplier, and then revamped his business again. Had to get a different pump, had to get different hoses, had to get everything. So he rock and rolled, which is good because he's been in the business and he learned. So I just shout out for his shirt that he gave me, which is great.
Yeah, well, good for him.
And then that's it. But I mean, like, Derick, how did it all begin? Other than being Portuguese, how did it all begin?
Right from the beginning?
Yeah, right from the beginning.
Wow,
what part of Portugal are you from?
So I'm from the Azores. My dad's from Terceira. My mom's from São Miguel. I'm half and half.
Okay. So they
we call it a rabtor. I don't know if you heard that phrase before.
Nice.
But I love to travel the mainland. My wife's from the mainland.
I've never been.
Gorgeous.
I've always go to the islands.
My son's 9 years old. He's been 7 times.
That's amazing that you're bringing them and having that culture attached, right?
Yeah, it's unreal, and thanks to my in-laws, you know, they have a nice place there, and you get to kind of see Portugal, Europe, and it's fantastic.
It's a different world, man.
It is. Azores are beautiful, but it's kind of like a one-time show. It's like, let's go to the Caribbean, but let's try Dominican, let's try Cuba, let's try Jamaica.
Yeah.
It's typically what you're doing with the Azores, because you can pretty much see the whole island in one day.
But I like that quietness, though, man.
Yeah, serene, the serenity now.
Where everybody on the island or anybody like, I don't use my phone. I refuse to use my phone when I go away.
Yeah.
And when I'm there, I don't use my phone. I see everybody else using their phone, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I do back home. But here, I'm not using my phone.
Yeah.
I refuse to. So,
Yeah.
no, that's good that,
Yeah,
that the kid's gone there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
so right
that.
from the beginning, I've been in a lot of industries prior to getting into construction. Like I made bread, warehouse supervisor. I worked at the bank as a retention mortgage specialist.
How long did that last?
At the bank?
Yeah.
About 2 years, 2.5 years. I went from the branch level to the corporate level. And then once I got to the corporate level, the head office, the politics just deterred me away from it.
Is it true the bank is just about quotas? Like you have to achieve.
Absolutely.
Just go after these people, get them to sign a mortgage, line of credit, whatever. Just
renewal.
renewal.
Yep, renewal.
That's how it
I was
is,
just retaining the clients.
And if you don't, you're canned.
Yes, to a certain point. I mean, it wasn't difficult to get a client that's already yours.
Got it.
Again, at that time, it was just about interest rates, and a lot of people wanted to pull out equity. Sometimes they didn't. At that time, equity wasn't there because that inflation wasn't there in inside the home. With getting at an advance. But it wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either. And yes, they did have quotas, but they also they would incent you, right?
Yeah.
So, your first 5, you'd get 0.2% or something like that of whatever the advance would be. Yeah. But yeah, it was incentive based. I just didn't like the corporate politics, and all the cubicles and everyone staring at everybody and who's going to the washroom, who's going for a smoke and
All that.
yeah, it was nuts.
Like the water cooler, and people actually just like gossip crap.
Yeah,
Lots
it was
of?
lots of it.
So that's the difference
Male-
in construction. We just tell you to your face.
Male, feet, yeah, more straight up. We're in there. It's just like you start getting an argument in front of, you could be in a room like you can have like 10 desks right now.
I know in
Right?
that space.
In the space, and that's how tight it's like. It's like a can of worms.
Giving me creeps just
it's
thinking
nuts.
about it, man.
It's nuts.
It's not a good environment.
No, it's not for everybody. It definitely wasn't for me.
So why did you? Okay, so from the baking.
Yeah, for 16.
Really?
Well, at the age of 16, I started.
So it's funny.
baking bread.
I was baking as a kid, 13, 14 from Michelle's Bakery.
Yeah.
Right? And doing croissants and shit. That was one of my first jobs.
Yeah, I was
that
just
ever
doing
did.
pop six.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So how do you
4:30
go
in the morning.
How do you go from there? But that's a nice smell in the morning, man, every
It
day.
is. It
That's a
is.
really nice smell.
It
It
is.
actually wakes you up really nice.
Yeah.
So how do you go from there to the banking world?
In between there, I was warehouse supervisor for Leon's Furniture. That was just an ad I saw in a newspaper, and I sold myself, and I got it.
Wow.
So I was already like 18, 19.
Hustling.
Yeah, as warehouse supervisor. Then I got warehouse manager, and then from there I left. Yeah, and then the bank came up again. I was on my lunch at the warehouse, and this ad came up for the bank, and there I am. I got the job. It was all at that point. It was all newspaper ads. It wasn't Indeed. It wasn't Kijiji.
It's a different world.
It was just the Toronto Sun opening the back, or I think it was the back page. Well, before the Sunshine Girl.
Yeah.
And seeing all the classifieds and all the job opportunities.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And it's 2 years there.
2 years there.
And what was the straw that just said to you, I'm out of here, I'm gone? All the gossip, all the
Another
office.
yeah. So all the office
Politics.
BS. So again, another newspaper ad. I ended up being a car salesperson, used car salesperson.
That's a hard job, man. I've known a few friends back in the
That one
20s.
was
You got to work.
yeah.
Relationships.
Yes,
But you probably learned a lot
I did.
about people, personalities, character.
And that's who. So if you look back at kind of what my experience is, a lot of it has been sales and people, learning people, reading people, how to communicate with them.
That's a paramount skill in construction.
Yeah, it is very key.
Yeah.
So funny enough, used car sales, that's where I met my wife. I only lasted 9 months.
That's it?
Yeah.
She was coming in buying a car?
No, she would actually work there. She was a
worked there as well, too?
receptionist.
Okay,
Yeah, she was a
cool.
receptionist.
Good.
Used car salesman hooks up with the receptionist. And
It's a movie.
yeah. Anyways, long story short, 16 years later, we're together.
Nice.
Married for 13.
Nice.
But yeah, then I made the big move.
So what the construction, what happened?
My father-in-law.
Her dad.
Her dad, yeah. He was making good money with Lee Rocca Forming. He's based out of here in Oakville.
Yeah, I know of him.
He worked there for 30 plus years. He's retired now. He's living his dream in Portugal. But, I just saw an opportunity to learn, get on the tools. I've never,
Never did it before.
Never. I don't even have it in my family. I have business in my family.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I have business in my family.
Okay.
So my father had a cleaning business, very, very good janitorial service business. So I did a lot of his invoicing and accounting and stuff like that growing up, when I got first PC, 14, 15 years old. In high school.
So again, learning business.
And it was through my father. So I had, I got a lot of family in construction, whether it's in forming, windows and doors, roofing. My father was never. He was handy. He was handy as heck, very handy. He could drywall, patch, paint, build shelves in the garage, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So going into that, yeah. So I decided to take the opportunity. He needed someone on his crew. At that time, it was 6 guys. Today, that's rare. You're lucky to have 3 or 4.
How far back are we talking about here? So DLC's 10 years, but before that.
So I would say about 2006.
Okay, so not too long ago.
2006, 2007.
Okay, all right.
Well, it's 15 years.
But so you're working with him for 5 or so?
No, I worked with him for about 2 years until
Okay.
he, one time, an engineer, a soil engineer, told me to keep digging footings in Aurora.
Yeah, I already.
And I told my father, listen, I'm not doing this anymore. This guy is telling me to keep going down.
He's just standing around, right?
Yeah, and
does he have that little?
well, he's got that
stupid press thing.
Press,
I know.
yeah.
So the press thing, and I keep on looking at them, going, "How the hell?" It's like a little spring, little mini jack.
I guess it tells you the pressure or some sort of retention
I know, but everybody physically is different. So couldn't you press it more and get a false reading?
Yeah.
And all they care about is that they press it and I guess it hits 75 kPa, right?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, so fine. It covers your ass, you 75 PA. You build a house. That's what you could do. But
my father-in-law, he was foreman, and he says, listen, if you get a 15M dowel, 4 feet, and you just drop it, if it sinks, you got to keep going down.
That's how they did it?
Well, that was old school before any of this, right?
I know, but now with history.
Oh yeah,
so they
the
started,
technology.
They eventually started keeping records. So now we started learning where in the city has a kind of soil.
Correct.
So going in there already, technically you didn't need the soil geotech crap bullshit.
Right.
There's already a record of it.
Right.
But I guess you have to do it for every single structure if you're building new.
If you're building new, yeah.
Then you'd have to do it just
especially governments, and
that's
bridges.
why.
And it's like concrete. Every pour they do, they
test slump.
Test
yeah.
the slump, right? Yeah.
Just for the record, so if anything happens, they have someone
tested.
to blame.
Yeah, right. To blame,
So you got tired of that, got out of
That's
that.
where I learned all my, drills and hammers and tool belt and skill saw, bracing, 2x4,
brand skill saw or the skills?
Brand skill saw.
Okay,
yeah, electric. That time there was no 20 or 60 volt or anything like that. So it was all electric. Electrocuting yourself in the winter, the usual.
I'm sure back in that day, some guys probably try to take the AudioVox mobile phone battery and try to connect it to a saw to make it work or some shit like that. I don't know. We don't know. I'm sure people were experimenting.
Yeah.
So that enough of that, and then you had to leave there.
So I didn't leave forming completely. Then I went into another family member, who was my uncle. He had a mid-rise concrete company called United Concrete Forming.
That's
he still
hard
operates
work.
today. I loved it because of Perry, working with Perry scaffolding, the Perry sky decks. We would do all the walls in Perry. I'm sure you've heard of Perry,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
bridges and stuff like that. Fantastic
Because they're
to work with.
They're basically professional. That's all it is. As professional as you can get.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's amazing how. You just give them the plans and they'll ship everything to you.
It's a standard.
They'll ship you over.
I know.
All the Lego.
I know. And then you enjoy doing it, putting it together.
Scaffolding, the sky decks, and then
Because they figured out everything.
right,
That's why you enjoy
right,
it.
and then you get into your beams and stuff like that. So then you got to do everything out of your 3/4 ply veneer and everything like that, right? Columns. But yeah, so then I did mid-rise for another year and a half. I think the highest I ever got was in terms of floors. I believe it was 6 floors. It was an elevator shaft. It was my last job, Keel and 407.
Okay.
Just on the southwest corner there. There's a little commercial building. But I left there.
Any office politics in mid-rise?
No.
I hear there's a lot of blinders. Every trade
Yes.
just sticks to their own. There's such segregation.
Yes.
Nobody wants to help each other out.
Yeah. Especially if the steelmen were outsourced.
Which is a shame, because
Yeah.
why not be a collective and work together? But I guess I can't speak because I'm not a part of that world, never
Right.
enter that world. I don't understand that world.
Yeah. And then there's the whole union and non-union world.
That's the out of there. That I'll never.
That's
be
what
able-
separates. That's
Yeah.
what separates that too.
Yeah, it's true. And then there's rules about how many non-union you can have on, and yeah, I know it's just like, but we don't need a knock on the door.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I don't need tires slashed. I don't
No.
need any of that shit. Not
Yeah.
saying that any of the union guys ever did that.
Yeah.
Not saying that.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
But okay.
They should work collectively though.
I think it would. I don't know. I don't see happiness on
No,
those job
no.
sites. And I've been on those job sites just to do some video content and work with people and stuff like that. And you walk in and it's almost like walking into that bank corporate environment.
Yes.
There's
yes.
just no cubicles.
Right.
There's just people that are creating cubicles around them.
Right.
And I don't get it. Why not have some happiness here? I don't know. Or I'm just being too naive, I guess.
It's not everywhere. It's
Got
a
it.
very, very small percentage where everyone's kind of happy.
Yeah.
In those type of environments.
It's punching a clock, go to
Especially
there.
high rise. You don't need, like, a lot of people go in there punching clocks.
And there's a lot of high rise going on in Toronto. 20 new towers by Yorkdale right now. It's going on right now.
It's crazy.
Which is insane.
Insane.
Which is great for us, construction industry. Lots of work.
Absolutely.
There's more than enough room for more people to come in, learn a lot.
Yep.
Right? And I guess meet a lot of people, but I don't know if you're going to meet great people, but
I think the most important part right now, and I think it's very scarce, especially with the baby boomers retiring, is, and you've always talked about it in your previous podcasts, is getting these young people to get onto a skilled trade. I remember when I was in high school, they kept pushing computers on me, computer engineering, which was important.
yeah.
But I didn't need to know how to replace a hard drive out of a PC or a power supply.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They stopped
The
pushing any
JavaScript,
kind of trade.
HTML.
The trade wasn't a part of it anymore.
Yeah.
I
And like in my high school, they didn't have shop. I know very few high schools did. We had our mechanic shop, but we didn't have like woodworking.
They removed mine when I was there. They were in the middle of removing it, which made no sense. Like the old General machines, right?
Yeah.
Like the old, like these machines would last forever.
Yeah.
And then you start wondering. Now I start wondering. Okay, where did they go?
Right.
Who did they send them to, or something like that? Right.
Right.
I mean, it'd be a shame if they were just demolished, like scrap, metal,
I wouldn't be surprised.
because those
Put
were
it in a
good
museum.
machines.
Put it in a museum somewhere.
But yeah, and that's another thing, and I've been very vocal about trying to get Monty, the Ministry of Labor, on the show to start talking about, listen, part of
really
your
neat.
job is to kind of get all this trade stuff back into high schools. I think every tradesperson you talk to says that you don't start it at post, you start it at high school.
Right.
It's post is too late,
Right.
right? So if a kid's got an interest for it, a passion for it, I think it has to happen at high school level.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
But then you're dealing with helicopter parents and safety and
Safety. I think
insurance,
safety is the biggest
legality
concern.
and all that crap, right?
Safety is the biggest concern. One of my employees, he actually just started at George Brown on a renovation program, and safety is obviously they got to teach safety before they even get into skill saws and stuff like that. So it was already 2 weeks of that, which is good. I think the safety is very important. Everyone should be taught that.
But they're also.
I just wish it was in the high school level.
I think it needs to be
That program
sooner.
should be in that high school level.
Isn't it funny, Derek, that there's a disconnect when you have a child and some of the first gifts that you give a child, a boy, are the toy trucks. Like
Right.
as a grown man, I still have my Tonka dump truck.
Nice.
And it's still in good condition. It's not rusted. I still have it, right? I don't know why I still have my communion suit.
Nice.
Which is like smaller than my t-shirt. Like it's just insane. But I mean, like my mom kept it. So it's like I still have it. But I think that it's funny that as a kid, parents will feed that passion.
Yeah.
But for some weird reason, there's a disconnect from that moment to getting into high school, and then there's no talk about trades at that moment.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think maybe some kids are actually, I want to talk about trades. I actually enjoy it. I like watching uncle, dad, brother. I like watching them work.
Right.
But maybe the conversation is just cut off and just said, no, you're going to go to IT. No, you're going to go to the bank, commerce, accounting,
Yeah.
lawyer, doctor, whatever, right?
Yeah. Pilot.
So I think we need to get more of it into even just I guess tease it a bit in elementary school.
Yeah.
Not on the tools and shit, but if you can actually just give them the basics and
Basics.
teach, like blueprint reading or building or structure. How does it work? A bridge. How's a bridge constructed? Like, I think kids would be lit up looking at it and a teacher talking about that. I think they'd be interested. Maybe that's the future engineers, future architects, future designers.
Especially with the technology and computers that we have nowadays.
Why not?
AutoCAD and,
Why couldn't we do that?
That would be actually...
But I've got no ear that's listening to this show that's part of the political process, right? That's where I'm trying to get Monty on the show so I can
that'd be fantastic.
ask them, right?
No.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. So it's a shame that we need to get the kids back into it and see what happens.
And even with my son and my daughter. Like actually the other day, my daughter was helping me put siding on the shed. You know what I mean?
How old is she?
She's 4. But I mean, she would,
I love it.
I just have her pick up the little pieces, the little cuts off the siding and stuff like that. Get her involved because she wanted to help daddy while my son's playing Xbox in the basement, right? So how ironic. But yeah, it's also teaching our kids and giving them. Listen, I love what we do, and I think most people that are on the show love what they do. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why we're here, to share our love. Yeah. And why not show that to our friends or family or kids, right? So I would never take that away. I would never take that away.
But there is Derick, honestly, there is a generation that has been construction like the whole family, grandfather, father, son. And at some point, one of them doesn't want their kid.
They say usually it's third generation.
Is that what it is? It's the third one?
The third one.
They
say the third one screws up.
Because they've seen it. I guess they just don't see.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. I'm sure like you see that weatherness in some, and they don't want to be doing that. They rather have or find an easier job. And that's where the whole TikTok or IG crap and all this other shit, right?
Right.
And I mean, sure, you can make money that way, but you could also make money and have a passion for something too.
Yeah, you just that one really tickles me.
The social media?
Yeah, like people trying to make money on social media. I mean, hey, you make your money. It is what it is. But I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be like zero hands-on in God knows how long, but maybe 20 years, 30 years, maybe sooner. I don't know.
Well,
it's all about easy money.
That's exactly it.
Easy.
Minimum amount of work, maximum amount of return.
Right.
That's all it is, right?
There's no such thing as hard work anymore. Well, there is, but
it's not the norm.
Right.
You're the odd. Right. That's what it is. And I know you're saying, man, but people that are on social media, they got to understand that not everybody's going to be Mr. Beast. Not everybody's going to be that 1 in a million that's going to get an offer to buy your content for $1 billion, whatever.
Right.
There's 8 billion people on this planet, man. And probably 2/3 of them are playing with social media, and you're hearing about one.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not everybody that is going to do that.
It depends on the content, of course.
But I definitely think that we need more people, younger kids, that are getting into the trades because they can be the future city builders.
Yes.
Whether it's commercial, engineered, industrial, you can innovate, figure out what's next, like contribute to this city and be. That's the unfortunate thing about Toronto. Toronto could actually be, and Canada could be such a force on the global side. Like so much shit started.
We got a lot of land.
Yeah. So much shit started in this country, and then we don't milk it. We don't harvest it. Like we don't like nurture it.
I feel like we just compact it. Right? You look at your big cities, or choke it.
That's what we
look
do.
at our big cities.
Yeah.
The other day I saw a map. It's funny. I saw a map of subway system in New York, and then you look at. I think it was on. I don't know where I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I'm going.
2 lines in Toronto.
Yeah. And then you look at the spider web.
The Paris, London, New York.
Like why?
It's disgusting that ours is so poorly designed.
Unreal.
And then you can't really point it at anybody, whoever was responsible for that design.
Right.
But yeah, and that's work. You know what I mean? But I'm also fascinated, like if you ever look at subway systems in St. Petersburg, you ever see subway systems in Washington, D.C., they actually put like stone coffered ceilings and like intricate work and like design. And they actually put, what do we get? We get like crappy ceramic tile crap, right? Like, how about we just make it a lot more interesting, man?
Right.
I've been arguing over and over that if I was ever a civil engineer, I would put a tunnel from the 427 to the DVP.
Brilliant.
So you bypass the whole city. If I ever need to get to the East End, which happens all the time, why don't we just dig a tunnel right from the 427 right to the DVP?
Yeah.
And I'll get to the East End in 10 minutes?
Yep.
Without any headaches whatsoever.
Right.
But I'm not a civil engineer, and I'm not one of the irate people that are going to be living along the lakeshore that are going to be upset because there's drilling going on underneath where I'm living.
Makes sense.
It's called an infrastructure. It's called a city, and we need to expand. You can't kick out everybody. I think it's too late, though. Well, it would be cost trillions.
Yeah.
By the time it actually gets done, if it ever gets approved.
Right.
But
nothing's impossible. It's all about
it's money.
money.
But I mean, also abuse of money. Like, how long is the LRT on Eglinton taking? How many delays? Money's still pouring. There's a joke right now on social media, but like, I don't care. I'm getting paid every day.
Right.
I don't care.
Yep.
Well, you should care,
Yeah.
because guess what? It's your taxpayer dollars that are paying for this, man.
It's true.
So it's like it affects everybody.
Absolutely.
But I don't even know how we got into that whole tangent, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. Okay, so
Awesome.
you left dad. You left your dad working there, and then from there. So what was that gap between there and starting DLC?
Yeah, so DLC. So then I had a little partnership with a buddy of mine into just like general renovations. He was his dad was a painter, but that's where I also got involved with smart home.
Oh,
So I have a little bit of smart home background. I used to rough in all the houses for a contractor. So I was a sub, me and my partner. We were called the Good Guys. I actually love that company name, the Good Guys.
that's nice.
And yeah, we did that for 2 years.
First time diving into
smart home, and it was really simple. It was just they give us a drawing and take Cat 6, take Cat 5 from here to here, Cat 3 from here to here. You know, coax RG6, alarm wire, 22.4. But we would just do rough-ins. And him and I would crush, like, we'd go to this one site I'll never forget in Brampton, Gore Road and Queen. Country Homes was the builder. And we were smashing 12 semis in one day.
They're a big builder.
Yeah, they're a big builder.
I was up at their offices recently.
Great to work with.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'm trying to remember his
Anthony.
Big tall guy.
Anthony? No.
I can't remember his name. But yeah, I met him. Sorry, I met him briefly, and then he was giving me the lowdown on Country Homes.
Yeah, good. We did Innisfil. We had a site in Innisfil. So yeah, this company called Built-In Technologies, Grand Alarms, Deluxe Alarms.
Okay.
They gave us opportunity to make money, but you had to work hard, and it was like a per unit. You would get paid per unit, so it was like something like every semi you did, you'd have $150 in it. So it was like him and I crushing 6 houses each, for example, vacuum.
And you're just running the lines.
Yeah, just getting pumping as many houses as you could. It was tiresome, but the money was awesome.
A lot of fishing, or everything's exposed?
Everything's exposed. So that's where I got into, I already had a lot of like tool and framing, and that's where I really got to, I love to picture things. If I see something like that wood thing behind you, that's awesome. So like I might, like that'll give me an idea somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Someone's already, I had leftover,
I love it.
And they took it.
Yeah.
Like, you want it? Go ahead. I stained too many of them, but take it.
And it gives me the the whole soundbar wave thing.
Why not try shit? Yeah. We're in construction.
Man.
We know how to build things, man.
Yeah, no. So, where was I getting that, Derick?
So you guys were running wire and everything like that?
Yeah, running wires, and that's where I got to see. We work closely with electricians and plumbers.
You had to.
Yeah, I had to. HVAC. So I saw a lot of that happening.
So what's the rule? Parallel, never cross.
Parallel, never cross.
That's it. If you cross, you just basically ruin everything.
Ruin everything for the next guy.
So as long as you're parallel.
Now you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Then you ask the guy, do you know what parallel means? Just in
the wave
case.
of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So, then we parted ways, my partner and I, and then that's where I opened up DLC Installations when my son was born. DLC stands for Derick, Lucas, Cindy.
Nice.
So that's got a little meaning behind it.
It's like Jeff from GL Plumbing.
Yeah.
GL is his 2 kids.
2 kids.
I'm not having a third because I don't want another letter to the company.
Yeah, it's my issues. My daughter's not in it, but that's where DLC Installations came from. So I started off, with just smart home, rough in, but also finishing.
But you didn't know anything about smart home? Like, you didn't know?
So getting it while
I'm amazed at Derick that you just dive right in.
I do. Till today, I dive right in.
Just dive right in.
Yeah.
You'll figure out how to do it.
With theory.
Got it.
With a lot of theory. Common sense, street smart. Or
just have the balls.
Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Go on YouTube. Go on Google. Get a second opinion.
Yeah.
It may not be the best place to go get it, but use your opinion and cross it. Cross it with Google. Cross it with YouTube. And make a decision. Right? I've been doing that a lot in the last decade.
I think you have to.
You do.
I think to advance and to learn, but also keep you sharp.
Yes.
You have to.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
All right.
So then, I ended up getting a builder. I still work with him today. He gives me about 2 houses, 3 houses a year, rough and finish. So it's they're nice on a yearly basis. And the whole renovation thing, honestly, was a dive-in.
So someone came to you and asked you, can you do a rental
I think
for me?
my first job as a reno was just a stand-up shower in a townhouse, a brand new townhouse. And it was roughed in and everything. And at that time, YouTube was around, believe it or not. And, well, yeah, it was around.
Yeah,
even some time.
Yeah.
And I said, I love this. I enjoy this. I love building. I remember, like, even as a kid, I mean, we all had Lego and all that back in the day, but I love trial and error. I love building, being tested, you know.
This was a standard shower?
It was a standard shower. The
Okay.
roughen was there. I think we did move the trap slightly, a couple inches over.
What were you using for substrate? What were you using for water?
Dry pack, waterproof was that, but we were using the Red Guard.
Red Guard?
Red Guard. When I did the first bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just at that was my first bathroom, my first reno, and I kind of expanded from there. And I built a client base. I don't market. I just have social media.
So those clients were happy. They word of mouth to somebody else.
And I'll be honest with you, first 2-3 years were tough. They were nasty. Probably pretty much worked for free.
Hard work.
Yeah. Worked for free. After the second or third year, once you start building client base and people are happy with you, the sky was the limit.
They just called.
Yeah. The only issue is that you can't be everywhere at once. But
so how did you solve that problem?
Well, then getting employees, took me some time.
Where were you finding them?
Facebook, again, word of mouth, just getting, he, she, does your son need a part-time job? Does he need a full-time job? Does he want to learn something? They were showing up.
Today, that's the biggest problem today.
All my employees, I'll be honest with you, I've had, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 employees in my past, which 2 of them are still with me currently, so we're 3 in total. And they're labor helpers. Some, their positives and their negatives. Their strengths and weaknesses is what I meant.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, that was so what I was trying to get to is every employee that's worked with me, we've never left in bad terms. They've always learned something. And
so they still reach out to you? They still call you?
I speak to them.
That's huge, man.
My first one would have been Tristan. Would have been my first employee.
Don't leave on a bad term. Don't leave because someone's offering you another job for $1 more or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
They left on good causes.
That's good to hear.
Whether they wanted to better their life, go to school, or they stayed in the trade. I taught. That was one of the biggest, how do I say this? Accomplishments of having having an employee and teaching them. And then them taking what you've taught them and go out in the real world. Because some of them are informing. Some of them, open up their own business.
Yep.
One ended up being a paramedic operator for Toronto paramedics. They either went in the trade or it was for a really good cause. And we never lost any ties. I don't know if it's because of the person that I am or, the personality that I have. I'm not that one to scream, but when shit goes wrong, and everybody knows.
But I mean, it's just funny how I think there was one person on the show that actually said that you're on a job site for 8 hours or whatever it is. You got 8 hours of opportunity to learn, appreciate, ask questions, or you can just have 8 hours and put your earbuds on and just zone out and just fucking do the job.
I love when people ask me questions.
And just learn. Yeah, you got 8 hours.
Yep.
Learn.
Yep.
Not even if you don't ask, just watch. And learn, because in construction you can watch and you can actually learn, right?
Right.
It's the best YouTube out there.
Yeah.
A job site.
Yeah.
With a real life person right there.
Right there. Hands-on experience. Real life.
Let me talk a little history here, Derick.
Yes, sir.
Any idea what the 3 biggest construction projects in this year have been?
In GTA?
No, this is global.
Oh. Whoa.
So I can tell you 2 of them in the U.S. and one's in the Middle East.
One's got to be a stadium of some sort.
No
stadium, no arena.
There's
MLS.
Plant. How do you Plant Vogel? I think Plant Vogel. Units 3 and 4 with an estimated cost of just a measly $30 billion.
Jeez.
The addition of these 2 units will make Plant Vogel in Waynesboro, Georgia, the largest nuclear plant in the U.S. as of this year. Just recently, August. They have 3 of them approved to load fuel. Second one is Dubai Land.
Dubai Land.
Water
infrastructure.
Another measly $76 billion. seeks to one-up the every major theme park in the world, being 3 times the size of Disney World.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. And has been construction since 2003 they got started. Fundraising created a very slow construction pace. And in the past 2-3 years, the area has launched Legoland in Dubai. Wow. And there's a famous Dubai Butterfly Garden. And then California High-Speed Rail. They've been talking about that for the longest time. And that's got just a measly $98 billion price tag attached to that.
Wow.
It's called the HSR, California High Speed Rail. Controversial because it's proposed to connect the southern cities of San Diego and LA to northern cities like San Francisco and Sacramento. But since being pitched in 2008, projected cost of $33 billion has since soared to $98 billion, and its goal compilation date of 2020, now 2033. Man, who's off on these numbers here, man? Like 2033 instead of 2020, and 3 times the cost, the budget.
Yeah. How do you estimate that?
You know what I don't like is that it's funny how you hear about these commercial projects, and how these budgets just balloon, schedules just balloon, and if you try an ounce of that in custom rentals, you're slapped, and then you're the bad guy. And then all of a sudden, it's a negotiation on the final bill.
Always a negotiation.
And then you watch the news, and you're like, but, and it doesn't apply to us, right?
No.
All right, so now we finally got to DLC. So you start DLC. How is that?
Love it. I love working on my own. Well, not on my own, but business for self.
What was the first lesson that you learned doing, like going on your own now?
First lesson. I don't know.
Like the first green light that you realize, oh, I didn't realize that this is working on my own now.
I guess it was my first HST quarterly.
Painful, huh?
Yeah, those are painful.
Painful. Revenue Canada should just send you a little tub of Vaseline along with that bill. Eh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's painful.
But hey, we collected for them, so we gotta give it back to a certain point, right?
One of my favorite places at King and Dufferin.
Bookkeeping is tough.
Island Foods,
Yep.
King and Dufferin.
Yep.
That corner now is being turned into a condo. They used to have a sign up there when you were ordering the food. We don't charge tax, we collect it.
Makes sense.
It's true.
Makes sense.
A lot of young people
I'm
who
gonna
start
use that,
business.
actually.
Well, a lot of young people, they figure it's a windfall.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to collect it and put it away in a separate account and hang on to it, because when you get your HST, your tax quarterly, you have to, guess what? Pay it.
Pay it. Now we're on you.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a good point. That would be a little bit of an eye opener.
Yeah.
You're running a business now.
The bookkeeping was an eye opener. Other than that, and the logistics. Logistics, obviously, that's always an ongoing thing. But getting it first started, setting up your tools. What did I start in? I started in a Dodge Caravan, but like a CV, a cargo van.
Yeah. What are you driving now?
I love this thing. Dodge ProMaster 3500.
Yeah?
High roof, extended.
Because it's got every space that you can put everything in it.
Yeah.
Vans are the way to go.
They are.
I'm actually surprised it took so long for Europe to get it over here.
Yeah. And it's a Fiat.
Yeah.
Well, actually originated, the Sprinter was Daimler Chrysler.
Yep. Then they split.
Then they split with Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
Mercedes Sprinter took
But
it.
the ProMasters are Fiats?
It's a Fiat.
Really?
It's a Fiat baseline, yeah.
I'd love to see the other European bands coming into this country too, but I think maybe Benz has got something to do with not letting them in.
Possibly.
I don't know. And why hasn't GM?
Yeah.
What's with GM not?
And they used to have, their Savannahs were workhorses.
Everybody has, but I don't. Why didn't they ever go with a route of a high roof? And I don't know. There's got to be a reason.
I guess maybe focus on trucks.
Yeah,
Keep more focus
but
on
the
trucks.
industry is changing to vans. I honestly believe that
it's
there's
huge.
more vans than pickup trucks.
Yeah.
If you're even concrete guys I know are vans, but if you're hardscaping, landscaping, sure, pickup trucks make sense.
Right.
But every other trade, it's a van.
It's a van, yeah.
And then you can get a smaller van for condo, high-rise work.
Of course.
So you can fit
Easy
it in
parking.
there. Yeah. But I mean, so the van makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I love it. You can fit 14-foot trim right down the middle if you'd want. You have a 4x12 drywall. And I have all my tools there, and they're not wet. Because I used to have a Ram 1500.
With a cab or no
with
cab?
a cab.
With a cab, okay.
And I had a tonneau cover, then I put the cab on. Still wasn't happy with it.
Then you're breaking
Then I got a
back,
Vinos.
You got to dig in there.
Then I got a Vinos trailer.
Got it.
Sometimes you take your trailer and you wouldn't. And then that's when you would forget certain tools. You have to drive back or buy. I don't know how many caulking guns I have.
I just found 4.
Yeah.
And you're
It just makes sense.
How did you, and then the knives, like just the little things here and there when
Yeah.
you could just have a bucket in the van
Yeah.
and it has it all there. Go in there, grab that. There you go.
So the van stopped out that, right?
Got it.
Love it. What a workhorse. It's given me no problems. Had it for 3 years now. It's 2019. It's going to be 3 years. Bought it brand new.
Where are they at price point wise? I know like now it's stupid.
Yeah. I've never thought a vehicle would ever appreciate, to be honest with you. I guess it's because of the demand.
What year is yours?
2019.
So
I bought it.
You were right before the madness.
Yeah.
Okay.
43,000 I think I paid plus HST. They're worth 65.
I paid 42 for my 2015 Sprinter. Yeah. A Sprinter now is tickling $90,000. Short.
And that same truck, like I can sell used right now, 70,000 Ks for like 62 grand.
Yeah.
65.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's love. Like I wouldn't trade for the world.
How's it on gas?
You know what? It's not bad.
It's diesel, right?
No gas.
It's gas.
It's a 6-cylinder.
6?
6, yeah. It's 6-cylinder, 3.7, I believe, 3.5.
What are you getting out of there? Like 700 or so?
No, 556.
Oh, that's where the Sprinters are much better, man.
Yeah. The fuel economy is. I have a lot lot of weight in the back.
Fully loaded Sprinter, you'll 800-900
diesel.
Yes.
Yeah.
But diesel now is up to 250.
I think something like that. 220 is last time I saw.
Now. It's insane.
Yeah. Gas prices are ridiculous.
I wanted to ask you, so you started your business. How do you make Derick, 10 versions of Derick, everywhere, handling 20 problems? How do you handle that?
On my own.
That's the biggest problem I had running your own ship. And it's like you said earlier, clients want to deal with you. Like as much as you introduce them to your team and they like your team, they want to deal with you. They want Derick version 1, Derick version 2.
I'm fine with that.
And you're good with that? It's not overwhelming? It's not demanding?
There are times where it is overwhelming, especially when the problems and issues arrive. But I do rather have the client come directly to me and bring up an issue because the employees may not understand or may not have the right answer. And I actually tell all my employees, if the customer comes up to you and says, why are you doing this? Or how come you're not doing it that way? Just see Derick. Just see Derick. Just see Derick.
Oh,
I just tell them, just see Derick.
it's amazing.
I'm here to work.
But you get the new guy who will say, well, we're doing it this way because, shut up.
Very, very small story. We just did a big reno in Bolton. So it was a cleanup after a poor contracting.
Okay.
You've heard of these already. I probably get 1 or 2 of these a year. And so the client, our client, we just finished up last week, and she had this contracting company doing work, and one of these guys, like the contractor, the business owner, had this gentleman who was laying tile in the bathroom, and so she arrives from work, and she goes, "Well, what are you doing?" I go, "I'm laying tile." It's like, "But you're the laborer." I know, and then he goes and tells her, "Oh yeah, I'm not tile. I'm just doing it because ABC told me to do it." So you can imagine what that shower looked like,
Of course.
right?
Plus the wrong thing to say. Right?
Just talk to Adam.
Yes.
Talk to Derick.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So how did she
Well, the whole project became a mess. We ended up demoing 2 brand new bathrooms.
ripping it all out?
Yeah. And unfortunately there was not enough, for us to do in their kitchen, the main floor, but it was that's going to be mediated. She's going to try.
What kind of tile was destroyed? Like, was it expensive?
Oh, actually, yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. Especially on our main floor, the 2x4, 2 foot by 4 feet tile, man.
I hate
Porcelain.
seeing that, man.
Yeah, it's sad. Cracks, bows, unlevel. He used clips. He still, mind you, clips don't.
Listen, clips.
Clips aren't.
You could
You
put
gotta use
training
them-
wheels on a motorcycle. It ain't gonna make you a better rider.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like clips don't save your skill.
Yeah.
Right.
So clearly, the whole process, the whole outcome of this job was just absolutely atrocious workmanship for the price she paid.
Yeah. Where'd she find this, or how did she source out?
Oh, you're gonna love this one. Facebook, Reno guys, or Reno, find a Reno. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's one of those. It's one of those. You input your name, like it's an inquiry form, and they send you 3 of their top contractors.
It's not like Smart Reno or something like that, or
Be smart Reno.
because that's
I'll
kind
get
of
back to you on that.
Okay, I'm just curious about it.
Yeah. Anyways, she went on Facebook. She wanted to get a Renault, so she chose this one guy, and she's actually going to try to. She can't. Well, she could, but she wants to try to. This company get them involved because they're sending to consumers shady people.
It's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I have a problem with some of these platforms. Like, I'm not a huge fan of these platforms because they just want to get as many contractors signed up for it. You'll get 10,000 leads. You'll get X amount of jobs out of those leads, and you'll make your year.
Right.
Is it good workmanship? We don't know that.
Right.
Are there horror stories? Probably. But I mean, it's like, do you think that clients kind of surf Instagram? Because I think they would be savvy enough to know that a lot of good contractors are on social media.
Not everybody. It's just one of those things that a lot of clients, and I find a lot of consumers, they don't do their due diligence. They're so on price. They're so on negotiating. They're so on getting that estimate line by line that you forget one thing. Ask for references. Ask for photos.
The work.
Ask for previous work.
How about we ask clients to have a conversation with a potential tradesperson that they want to hire, and do not discuss the price. Do not bring it up. Do not talk about it. Do not talk about everything else.
Right.
Except the price.
Except the price.
At the point where at the end of your interview, or you're talking to this person, whether digitally or in person, at the very end, you start discussing price.
Absolutely.
That way you can get a better sense of who that person is and that business that they built and the work that they're going to bring to the table.
Yep.
Then you discuss price.
I think it's a proper way to do it. And that's the way I've been doing it for a good chunk of time.
Plus, also, I really wish that clients would look for 3 very similar pricing. Like, if you're getting 3, one's low, one's high, one's in the middle, low is either line, high is either line, middle might be right, or vice versa. We don't know. It's a shell game at that point.
Yeah.
We don't know which is which.
Yep.
You as a client should honestly be finding minimum 2, ideally 3. They're relatively similar. Basically, it means that they're running a business properly. They have all the right insurances. They're having all the right paperwork. Everything's proper. If those 3 prices are all within 5 to 10%, then you're talking to your apples and apples at that game.
You're right.
But I totally agree with you. They want to hear the Willy Wonka golden ticket. What? Your price is what?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, sure. You're hired.
Yeah.
But they haven't talked about skill. They haven't talked about work. They havenent spoken to a reference. They haven't seen
all
anything.
price derived.
It's the worst thing you can do.
It is. And I'd say a good chunk of consumers, if I were to throw out a percentage, probably 75 to 80% are like that. And the other 10, 15%, 20% are, derived by actually doing their information. And this is how I get most of my clients, is hey, Derick, I got your number from ABC. You did her bathroom 3 months ago. I'd like to come. I love those. I call that a hot lead.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah.
And that's,
your
I run to those.
Yeah, your job's like almost done
Yeah.
at that point.
You're already sold.
You got to deliver what you've built.
Yeah.
As a brand.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
That's why you worked all those extra hard hours. That's why you did what you did. That's why you spent a little bit extra care, effort with this client or that client, and you ate a few $100 here or whatever. That's why you did all that.
That's right.
And then you got this hot lead, which is totally what happens all the time.
Yep.
But I mean, how do we do that? They're getting their education from other platforms that are not the right platforms to get it from.
Right. And that goes to these platforms where they're not doing their due diligence. The clients, the consumer thinks these platforms are doing their due diligence
for them.
But
they're not. They're not vetting them. No way they're vetting them.
And in fact, these consumers are giving them their budget.
Yeah. They're giving them they probably even emailed them, asked them, listen, what do you think a 3-piece
It's part of their form.
costs? Yeah.
It's part of their form.
But there's no set price in construction, man. Like, everything's different. We don't know what tile you chose. We don't know how big the shower is. We don't know if there's mechanical that needs to be moved. We don't know if you're adding luxury items. We don't know any of this shit.
Yep.
How can we give you a ballpark? There's no such thing as a ballpark for that.
Right.
It doesn't apply.
I like to give allowances.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because let them have the freedom to choose low, medium, high.
Yep.
Then you can't be dreamed. But I mean, also couple-wise, please be on the same page.
Yeah.
And also spend.
That's a tough one.
Spend the time to do the research before the actual hammer starts to swing. Mm-hmm. I really wish that they would actually, instead of one partner dismissing the other partner, going, I don't have time to look at this. I've got to finish this. I got to do this. I got to take care of the kids here. I got to do this. No. You both should actually you're planning an extensive rental. Mm-hmm. If you start a kitchen these days is what? Anywhere from 75 to 100K. Mm-hmm. You're going to spend 75 to 100K and you want to just have a dismissive conversation? No, you should have us literally sit down, pull up the classroom, table and chair and sit down and figure this shit out.
Absolutely.
That's what they should really do. Because guess what? Good trades out there are already doing that for you.
Yep.
And they're presenting their numbers,
Yep.
which are extremely valuable and their time is valuable. So they just want to respect you. So all we're asking is that you turn around and respect us.
Absolutely.
So do your homework and don't keep looking for the crappy. Don't keep looking for the price that you want.
Understand what things cost.
Yes.
Is a good thing I tell the clients. A lot of things, oh yeah, I can get a 36-inch vanity for $400. Well,
I can get a car for $400. Am I going to like it?
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, having them go to these big building box stores, understanding what drywall costs and framing or lumber rather, trim and the difference between MBF and pine, and that's important.
It is 100%.
Very important. Very important. And again, that comes with research.
And they don't want to do it.
No, they a lot of them want to hear you say it.
So then it's been discussed.
No, they want you
want, take care of it.
Yeah, yeah. They want me to give the knowledge to them, which I'm fine in doing. But now, if it's another contractor who's giving, not to say that my knowledge is 100% correct.
No, it's based on your experience and
it's
the
based
job
on
that you've done.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone else might have a different opinion. Another contractor, another tradesman might have a different opinion. So again, it's very hard for a consumer to. There's a lot, but you know what? You're spending a lot of money.
So why not do the homework?
Why not do your homework? It's your home. You're not talking about buying a $90,000 Tesla or Mercedes-Benz or $30,000 Caravan. Do your due diligence.
And in all the more reason,
these
nowadays,
contractors, these tradesmen.
I can only assume that more and more people are staying put.
Yeah.
So if you're staying put and you're renovating, please first get rid of the idea of selling this house.
Right.
Right? Focus on how you want to live in this house. So focus on what you want. But don't go ballistic. It's easy to walk into the grocery store with a basket and then you're walking out with a full cart of food. Right? It's very easy to do that.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing in construction. But also be aware that you have to have a means, to your budget. You have to understand it. You can't go ballistic. If you want all this pretty stuff that you've seen on Pinterest and House, there's a dollar attached to it. And there's a lot of skill attached to it. And also hire the right person, just like that job there. You got expensive tile and it was done poorly. Now it's garbage, man. Nothing's worse than seeing brand new material garbage.
Sad.
I hate that.
Sad.
I totally hate that. The ultra wealthy can do that because they'll do something, I don't like it, it looks done or whatever, and then tear it all apart, do it all over again.
Yep.
Sure, you're paying twice, 3 times more, and tradespeople don't care that you're doing that because they're being compensated.
Right.
I've always said it. I think clients need to go to construction school. There should be a class. There should be a little online class.
Yep.
That's it. Answer all these questions, and if you get a grade and you pass, and it's not 51, it's got to probably be 99.
Right.
You got to pass. Then you're ready to actually speak to a skilled, experienced, professional tradesperson.
That's right.
But they won't do that.
No. They will not do that. And kudos to some clients, and I have
that
had
and they show up.
Yeah,
they're prepared.
I've had a very few that were very prepared, and I mean building permits are done, and you got.
They did them. They applied for them.
Yeah, I love those.
I started doing that in the beginning. Then I started realizing, hang on a sec, that's not my job. I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
Technically speaking, it's the architect's job.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Their responsibility.
Yeah.
They deal with the city. They deal with delays. They deal with all the emails, misinformation or missing items or whatever. It's not my job. I used to do it because I was just being nice. And I was like, that's not my job, man.
Yeah. You're not being, you're not getting reprimanded for it, right?
Yeah, of course. So let the client do it. They figure it out. And they'll quickly realize how much of a headache it is too sometimes if you don't have everything proper.
Yep.
Then the city just shuts you down. You didn't have it signed on form number. It's got to go back to the queue, and so we'll look at it next month and all this other
jazz.
It's bullshit.
City's a different story.
What cities? I've only done one job in Mississauga. Didn't have a headache.
No.
But lately,
2 or 3.
A lot of people have been telling me that
Brampton's
Mississauga's bad. Toronto's not that bad, as much as people say.
I haven't done a Toronto. Yep.
I mostly did Toronto.
Yep.
Maybe I'm just so used to Toronto.
Yeah.
I haven't had problems with Toronto. I just had one problem with that one dickhead inspector. That's all it was.
Plumber?
No, it was just a building guy. That guy who just
building inspector.
Yeah, he overstepped himself. Just annoyed the fuck out of me, man.
Yeah.
Then I had to prove that he was wrong.
Yeah, I hate when they play Mr. Police Officer.
I'm like, dude, man, it's wrong. Still haven't gotten my apology. Probably never will.
Probably never will.
Never will, man.
Yeah.
So how many employees you got there?
Right now, 2.
2.
Yeah, plus myself.
Young guys?
One is an older gentleman. Well, he's in his mid-50s.
Okay.
And then the other one, 19.
That's young, man.
19. Yeah, he's still young.
I'm going to be 51.
He's young. But he's a good guy. You know, he's semi-retired.
Nice.
You know, he's just out to, you know, he's really handy. He's been with me for about 2 years now. And then we have my other one. He's 19, so he just started college.
Kid.
Yeah, just started college. He was with me for about a year and a half. Prior to that, I had one. Actually, he was my right-hand man, Philippe. He was a Portuguese guy.
Yeah.
He was like my number one. We were. If the question you asked me, if you can make another Derick, like he was the guy. And I paid him like top dollar.
Has he moved on?
Yeah, he moved on. He came out as a rough carpenter, worked with me for 3 years in Reynolds, and then now he's in concrete forming. Yeah, so we went back to the union.
It's not that.
He went back to the union.
Yeah, stability.
He had a child, right? Looking at benefits and pension.
You can't fault. No, you can't.
And we till today we're
of course good.
We're close.
That's the critical part.
Yeah.
Like I really wish more of the younger generation would understand how important that is, man. Yeah. Because you will be in a bind, and you will want to make a phone call. You will want to send a text.
Yep.
And you know that Derick will have the answer, and he'll be more than willing to give you the answer. But if you left on bad terms, I ain't answering the phone.
Oh, leave that door open.
Yeah. Sometimes I actually just sit down and I just delete certain contacts. I'm like, why is this contact still on my phone? Get rid of this. Get rid of this.
Yeah, I can't imagine how many contacts I have. Last time I looked, it was like 600 or something.
I haven't spoken to the person forever. He doesn't give a shit about me. I'll get rid of this.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? I can't remember this guy.
OBC talk.
OBC. All right.
Residential stairs. What are the different types of stairs you think?
Different type of stairs?
Yeah.
In terms of what it's made out of?
No, not material-wise, design-wise, right? So there's straight runs.
Okay.
There's curved runs. There's straight runs with winders. There's a minimum on winders too, eh? I think there's you can only
winders. That wouldn't.
It's a square, and then you've got pies.
Pies.
Right.
Yep.
Then there's the straight runs with curve runs.
That's changed a lot. The winders.
The winders has changed. I think last time I checked, exactly.
Yeah.
There was faults about people tripping
on that or falling down. Yeah.
But it was the only way that you could actually get the amount of stair that you needed to get to the structure without hitting the 6'8" minimum clearance for OBC, right? So that's why people loved winders, but then the OBC came in and started changing that because there's like, oh, people are... It was the same stupid rule about the handrail height and then the spindle space.
And the spindle spacing.
And so their argument was the handrail height had to go higher because of elderly couldn't grab the handrail if they lost their balance. That was fair enough. The narrowness of the spindles had to get tighter because babies were putting their heads in between the spindles and getting them stuck. That's a process of elimination, right? So that's all that is. But everything started changing. So stairs must have a width of what? What's the minimum? Minimum.
Minimum width of the stairs, I'd say 36 inches.
It's 2'11".
2'11". Wow. Oh,
it's pretty narrow, yeah.
Inside tread, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. But sometimes you get an inspector, he'll be so caught up on the handrail width to the wall. And so he doesn't look at the tread, right? Because it's the space of the handrail. And how do you argue that when you're doing small, tiny Toronto homes?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And the moment you take out the old stair, guess what? You got to comply with all the new rules now.
You got to pull back landings, pull back substrates, subfloors. Yeah.
And then the clear height over stairs measured from a straight line tangent to the tread and landing nosings to the lowest point above must not be less than...
I think it's 2 meters, 2.1 meters.
Which it's actually 6'5".
6'5", yeah.
6'5".
Yeah.
I thought it was 6'8".
2 meters, 2.1. Yeah.
It's actually good. I think I've actually done a few that have been 6'5", like right on the button. And,
yeah.
And I've had one inspector one time actually pull out the fucking tape measure.
Yeah. I'm
like, dude, really? And he goes, and he looks at you and he puts a smile and he goes, you're lucky. I don't think I'm lucky there. Maximum height between any landing cannot be more than what? It is 12'2".
12'2".
I didn't realize that one.
Oh, no, I didn't know that one.
I didn't know that one. All right, Derick. Where do you want to go with DLC right now? Where are your plans with it for the next little while?
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I've always been a firm believer just to kind of go with the flow. I never wanted to be, this is going to sound stupid. I never wanted to be
on the show.
I don't want to become so big so fast.
You want to ramp up.
Just whatever the industry does, however, I'm going to put it this way, God takes it. You know what I mean? However the flow of the ocean goes, you know what I mean?
You're a problem solver when problems arise.
Right.
And if it's happening for a reason.
Correct.
And now solve it.
Let's rectify it right away.
Yeah. Don't run from it.
No.
There's no point. Guess what? Because if you
now.
run from it, you turn around, that run's actually going to be a loop, and you're right back at the problem
Bite you
again.
in the ass.
So might as well just take care of it.
Take care of it now. Yeah. But yeah, man, just keep doing what I'm doing, however I'm doing it. I've been doing okay. You know, food on the table. Got a couple employees. Every day is a problem solver. Some days are better than others, and that's just construction, man. I love what I do.
What's your biggest bone to pick in construction? What's the one thing that keeps on coming up these days that always just rears its head?
Why aren't batteries charged?
Even worse in the winter months, eh? When someone forgets it,
yeah,
and you start the day and nothing is charged.
Yeah.
And you got no power on site.
Yeah.
And nobody brought a generator.
Right.
So it's
so I work out of home. So all the guys meet at my place 7 o'clock in the morning.
Smart.
And I'll have a charge. So I have a charger inside the van, and then I have another 4-pack charger inside the garage. So there's absolutely no reason for batteries not to be charged.
Unless somebody wants to sabotage the day.
Right. And let's just wait 45 minutes, 60 minutes for this 60-volt battery to charge. I've got 5 of them. They're all dead.
What brand are we talking about here?
DeWalt.
You're DeWalt,
I'm a DeWalt guy. Yeah.
You're using the big bricks?
Yeah.
This is fucking heavy, man.
They are.
They're big. Are they the biggest on the market?
No, I think there's bigger Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's 9 amps, or
Yeah,
have they
the
gone
9
higher
amp.
than 9 now?
No, I think they're 9. No, maybe they do have a 12 amp. They have one that goes on an SDS hammer drill, I think.
I think I've seen it. That starts to get too big.
Yeah.
And at that point, that tool, plug the fucking thing in.
Yeah. There's certain jobs you need to do with 15 amps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You need it.
You need it.
What are you going to do? You're going to burn right through that I never was a fan of the battery powered quick cuts.
Quick cuts?
Because you only get minutes with it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I personally have one. I cut a few brick sills, like window sills.
Did it last the whole cut?
I'm just trying to think how many cuts.
Like, I know Marcelino.
Oh, I remember cutting a big I-beam.
With
like
it?
a W21 with it.
On a full charge? And
Full charge, I'll cut the whole thing.
Clean.
See,
that's what Marcelino from M. Souza actually said, from Mellow Landscaping.
It may have had one battery light, but
when that moment comes and you need that one cut, it's good for that.
Yeah.
It's really good for that.
Yeah.
But it's an expensive tool for that one moment when
it is.
You can have it gas powered.
Absolutely.
And just crank it and go.
Well, the big thing too is the gas powered gives you a lot more of a blade diameter, right?
Yeah,
and you start getting the 12 and 14 inch.
It does.
Where like I got the DeWalt, it's only a 9. It's good enough maybe to slice a brick or some hardscape or I don't know, a windowsill, brick sill, whatever the case may be, right?
So everything's yellow?
Everything's yellow and black, man.
All the guys are all yellow too?
The Simpsons.
Or is it all? Yeah.
No, they're not all yellow.
No, that's
but I'm a DeWalt guy,
Yeah.
and that was just because when I first started with their old 18 volts, I just you already invested in the batteries and the tools, and I really like their service over at Mill Creek.
It's convenient.
Very convenient.
It's right
like,
there.
It's like having Moen.
Yeah.
In Oakville.
Yeah.
For a simple cartridge or
it's convenient.
warranty. It's
and
convenient.
Then, because your tools, I don't care what anybody says, doesn't matter what brand.
Yep.
It's going to require service at some point.
Brushless or not.
Doesn't matter if you kill it or a new guy kills it or it just kills itself.
Yep.
It needs service.
It does.
But I mean, no plans are ever changing. I mean, all of a sudden, Red comes in, Milwaukee, and they start introducing this.
I don't think I'd do it all over again.
No, eh? So just stick with that.
Like plan. I got a lot, like even the specialty tools, like the routers,
yes,
the cordless routers, and so on and so forth. I don't think I'd ever move.
I am envious of the cordless trimmer and router. I mean, that
got one.
Mine are corded, and I'm envious.
Yeah,
because it's kind of convenient, right? The cord's not being there, and then you could just do whatever you want.
The convenience of the cord, like again, reminds me back in farming, having 100 feet, 200 feet long wire for your skill saw, and it being buried in footing water,
frozen winter,
frozen frayed,
ripping it out,
and then that's the worst. Just bundling it back up full of mud.
Do you think these tool brands actually test their stuff like that in real Canadian working environments? Cigarette butts being,
I think there is there has to be some sort of testing. Now, whether it's in extreme cold, like -40, -30, I don't think so.
I don't think they do it. Maybe they take the batteries, put it on a nice cart, stainless steel cart, and they wheel it into a fridge and they leave it in there for a few days.
Yep.
Bring it back out and then just plug it in and go, oh, look, it works.
So what I do for my batteries, I have this caulk and gun, the sausage heaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put the batteries in there. Hooks up to the cigarette lighter. Keeps it warm.
You don't need the van running?
So as soon as it starts in the morning, that's always plugged in onto the auxiliary.
And then when you're driving.
When you're driving your site, whether it's half an hour, they're already warming up the batteries.
Nice.
They're already warming up the batteries and getting it ready to go on the charger.
I like that.
Otherwise,
it won't start.
It'll go on a cold delay.
Yeah, that's what I can't stand about that, man. Yeah. Everybody's batteries like that. Yeah. Cold delay shit.
Yep. Yep.
They never talk about what are we supposed to do with these batteries when they're dead.
That's the biggest.
Like I know that someone told me that there's a way to jumpstart. Sometimes you'll get a battery and it's like dead.
Oh, I've seen that.
And there's a way to jumpstart it, but you got to crack it open or you got to put tinfoil from a bubble gum or some shit. Like you got to do some MacGyver thing to kind of make it jumpstart so you can get that first bar and then it'll recharge itself.
It's like a reset. I saw that actually specifically on a DeWalt battery just recently, and I think the gentleman used some sort of low voltage wiring or like doorbell wiring.
Yeah.
And just jumped, I guess the positive and negative, and it gave it life again.
So why aren't the DeWalt reps or any of the tool reps telling you can do this? Or they just want to say, no, go buy another battery.
That's why their stocks are so high.
Yeah, exactly, right? They don't want to give you, but I mean, can you imagine the loyalty if they actually started sharing some insider tips about their tools?
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic.
I mean, I'm always curious about the tool brands and that whole fight. It's no different than GM, Ford, and Dodge fighting each other out and shit like that. But I mean, there's a lot of loyalty. There's a lot of brand loyalty for every brand out there.
Yes.
And I wonder how many of the brands are actually looking at each other going, how do we convert all the red guys to yellow? How do we convert the yellow guys to teal? How do we? I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. Once you're a brand, once you're with a certain brand, you're with a certain brand.
That's who you are.
Who you started with.
Yeah.
Like I remember even when I bought DeWalt 18 volts back in the day, I had my odd Bosch, Bosch 18 volt as well. I think I love the thing. The heck, my SDS hammer drill, like that big one.
It's like butter.
Rotary jackhammer,
Yeah, it's like
2-in-1, corded.
Yeah, the Brute.
Yes, the Brute.
I have the Brute.
The Brute.
I just find that the Brute is getting heavier with my age.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is,
possible.
man. It's a heavy tool, man, but it's a good tool.
Yeah, no, those are Bosch. Like, there's certain tools you need, and for certain jobs that, for example, like hammer drill, rotary, those you can't go to anybody else. It's got to be Bosch.
A lot of guys have been talking Milwaukee's is pretty good.
Corded?
Cordless. They've been talking about the cordless, right?
Yeah, cordless technology. But again, it's the whole battery thing, right?
But then you're putting a brick on top of a block, and then you're like, it's heavy, man, at that point. Yeah. And how far does it go, charge-wise?
One thing I like with some of the technology, especially with DeWalt, is they're putting that anti-torque where it doesn't...
All their tools, because back in the day, I know.
The whole hogs.
Yep. That's smart.
It's kind of like a clutch system.
Yep. You'll always hit a nail.
Yep.
And you always...
B-bar.
Yeah. You'll always hit something, man. And never have your face anywhere near it. We've seen those videos before.
Yeah, my wrist still hurt.
You learn quick.
Yep.
You learn quick, man.
Yep. How to grab it, and when to let go. Not about the tool; it's the person that's using it.
Well, also the young guys always want to just prove themselves. Oh, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I'm like, listen, man. Ask a few questions before you grab someone else's tool, right?
Right.
Because you never know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the cord is kicked out. Maybe there's a cut. Maybe that thing is turned off. Maybe it's damaged or something. But we don't know, right?
Don't know.
Just always be careful and just don't grab a tool. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of safety attached to tools, right?
Absolutely.
So don't just be thinking, oh, I'm a man. I can grab a tool. I can do this.
Yep.
Doesn't work that way.
That skill saw. I think that between that and a ladder is probably the two major dangerous things on a site. Anything saw related, really, even a miter saw, table saw. There's another stupid DeWalt table saw.
Which one? The job site one or the
cordless one?
Oh, the cordless one?
You couldn't rip a 2x4.
I am not a fan.
Wet or dry.
A miter or a table saw, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I don't own.
There needs to be a cord
cordless
attached to
exactly.
it. I'm sorry,
You
but
need those 50
and I guess
amps.
it's the same argument. They still say the same thing. It's just for that one cut that you need.
Yeah.
And I know that we were joking with John McNeil here. He was on, and he actually had to buy a miter box, and he had to do that one piece of trim. And he didn't want to buy a saw, and he was nowhere near the guys with the saw. And I get it. I understand that. But cordless miter or cordless table, it doesn't make any sense to me. If it made any sense, you would have saw a saw stop already build one.
Yes.
And they haven't.
No.
And if it made any sense, you would have saw a Festool build one. And it hasn't. So if you look at the big, miter Milwaukee just introduced one, didn't they?
Table saw or
Table
miter?
saw.
Table saw, I'm not quite
No,
sure.
or they're going.
They have a miter saw.
They have a miter saw battery.
Yeah.
But
so does DeWalt.
And so does DeWalt. But DeWalt's got the double battery with the cord adapter, so then you can still plug it in.
Yes.
Which I think is one of the smartest things ever.
Yep.
And I think every other one should be doing the same.
point.
Bosch doesn't do that. Bosch does one big battery, and it doesn't last. And it annoys the hell out of me. I have to get rid of the saw. I'm sorry. I was like, this doesn't work.
60 volt?
It was it's a
Is that the small
12 amp. 12 inch.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't last all day.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't. It starts to scream.
Yeah.
It starts to cry.
Cry.
I think there's actually tears come out of the battery. It doesn't make any sense. And I know that they were trying to figure out, okay, let's go one battery because DeWalt was double battery. Milwaukee's single battery.
Yes.
But no cord attachment.
As far as I'm concerned, no.
That cord attachment, I think, is the advantage.
Yeah.
I think DeWalt was smart for doing that.
Yep.
Because then whenever you can, plug it in. That's it. Don't always rely on the battery if you can. But I'm not a tool guy. I'm not a tool manufacturer, tool researcher, or tool reviewer. I'm definitely not a tool reviewer. No.
There's a few good ones on Instagram.
I won't speak to that. I honestly believe that every opinion is paid for.
It is.
So,
it's so true.
How is that being objective?
Yep.
So that's why I don't understand. So if your opinion is paid for, then how can I really take you seriously?
Right.
Plus, you're not really doing the same work. I'd rather talk to a concrete guy that's in the shit, that's covered in mud, grabbing a cord out of that icy mud, using a tool for a day, and ask them, what do you think of this tool? Then I'll get an honest
opinion, an honest review.
Right?
Yep.
Green Book talk.
Green Book.
Oh, talking about scaffolding.
Hey.
Scaffolds must be constructed to support 2 times the maximum expected load without exceeding the allowable unit stresses for the materials of which it is made. Also, 4 times the maximum expected load without overturning. Scaffolds made with lumber must consist of construction grade number what?
2.
Number 1 is I got here grade spruce.
Oh, yeah.
So they want better
Better.
material.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. What today? Like,
can you imagine what that?
what's number 2 look like today? It's got to be like number 5 or something. I don't know. It can't be like there's
there's no way.
defects, man.
Absolutely.
So that's why they're probably asking for number 1.
Yeah.
No scaffold mounted on casters or wheels that has a scaffold platform more than 2.4 meters above the base. So that's only one section of scaffold.
One section.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
On casters?
On casters.
Oh,
wow. Not more than that. Not no more than one section.
One section.
Okay, so
Even
I guess you
with
got to
locking?
Scissor. Yeah, maybe it could tip,
Maybe tipping.
or it actually hits a hole or something,
Yeah.
and then you're tipping over, right?
And some with training wheels.
Yeah, that's but then it starts to take up so much space.
Well, I wonder if but I wonder if you can go up another level with.
Then you probably put the outriggers on it.
Yeah, outriggers.
That's it, right? So 2.4 meters above the base shall be moved when a worker is on it. Can't be moved. The worker wears a full body harness.
Oh my.
Listen, man, if a scaffold tips over and you got a harness, guess what? You're being pinched by that scaffold. If you don't have a harness, you're being thrown from it, and I think that's safer than being crushed by a scaffold. But again, I'm not a safety rep, right?
Right.
So I know that these are the rules that they give us, but an engineer is required to design and erect a scaffold of more than 15 meters from its base or support, or 10 meters from its base or support if constructed of a tube and clamp system. I didn't realize that. I knew that engineers got involved eventually. You think they got engineers for the bamboo scaffolding in China?
Oh, I doubt it.
Which I've been told is actually stronger than metal scaffolding.
Well, bamboo is strong as heck, man.
I know. But the way they build those scaffolds in China with the bamboo is very impressive. But I don't know if there's engineers attached to that.
I don't think so. I highly doubt it.
I've never, you know what though? I do know an architect in China, in Hong Kong, and I need to get him on the show, and I want to chat with him. Pata Chan is his name. I want to chat with him about what's going on there. You can let us know. So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
all right.
That'd
So
be
Derick,
interesting.
what else you want to chat about, bro?
Uh,
How's the future of construction for you, man? Does it look positive?
I don't know. Right now, I think with what's happening in the real estate, I'm actually seeing it in clients right now. What's happening in real estate right now is I want to say that there's penny pinchers out there now. Well, let's go back to COVID. During COVID, it wasn't about the price. It was about, are you available?
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah.
Like, I made some sick money during COVID, shockingly.
Because you could charge a little bit more.
It wasn't about charging a little bit more. It was, they just wanted, if you were available, you made yourself available, even though you had 3-4 projects on the go.
Yeah.
You're on.
But now
I'm starting to see a little bit of a trend, a downward trend.
I'm seeing for sale signs starting to be faded by UV light. There's something going on.
Soon it's going to be snow.
No, that's what I mean. It's like you're not seeing that sold attached to the sign so quickly anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we know for a fact that at the start of the year, average Toronto house was 1.2 and change. Right now, the average house is just over 800.
Whoa.
That's 1 year.
Yeah.
Right? Which we knew that this year was the turning year. Mm-hmm. So is that going to keep on declining in 2023? I think it will.
I think it will. I think we're expecting another rate change.
Well, no, the bank is today. Bank of Canada.
Is it today?
Is it today or tomorrow?
Okay.
Probably going to.
Probably another 0.25%.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
Wouldn't be surprised.
You keep on hiking this up.
Another one in January, most likely.
Man.
Yeah.
That's going to affect buying properties.
It will.
That goes back to what I'm saying. Like, people are staying put.
Yep.
If they were lucky enough to find something and they found it,
Yep.
they got to be careful about their variable rates. Mm-hmm. Bank rate keeps on going up.
Yep.
That means your mortgage keeps on going up.
Right.
Means that the bulk of your money you're putting towards your mortgage is not going to the principal. It's actually going to interest.
Which is a great time to buy. The houses are going down. So, purchase price over interest rate. I always say purchase price. I'd rather buy a house at 6%, $600K than $1 million mortgage price.
I know.
At whatever it was, 2.5, 1.9, some people.
Back in the 80s and 90s when it was like 12 or 14%, homes were 150, 175.
Mom and dad did it.
And they were making 25 to 30,000 annually for their salary. Mm-hmm. That's a far better image than 1.2 million at 6%. And you're making 80 grand a year. Mm-hmm. That's not sustainable.
No.
You can't cover that house.
Yeah, we're in trouble. For some are in trouble.
So, I mean, I'm not nervous about construction when it comes to high rise and commercial.
No, I think that'll
continue.
never stop. That'll continue, even road work and infrastructure and whatnot. I'm more on the in my industry in terms of, renovations.
Custom rentals.
So a lot of people took out a home equity line of credits and to better their home.
And those lines of credits are being affected by every single bank rate hike.
Right now.
That's just a fact.
Yep.
You're paying more interest on your whatever it is.
Whatever that you spent, 70, 80, 200K on your home equity line of credit, right? Now, you bettered your home. Now, the house isn't worth as much, but hey, at least you've bettered your home and you're willing to stay put for 5 years.
But here's the thing. So, MPAC, so our house assessment here in Toronto in Canada, is MPAC Ontario or Canada?
It's provincial.
Provincial, yeah, okay. I'm not exactly sure. I got to get another real estate agent.
Pretty sure.
So they'll drive around, they'll find out if you did everything legitimate, which hopefully you did. You submitted a permit, you got that. So all the paperwork's in there. So now MPAC comes along and go, okay, so you just gutted your whole house. You added $300,000 reno. You've added another $400,000 value to the house. Now your property taxes went from 6 to 7, maybe even 8K a year. So not only are you paying more for the line of credit that you got, you're paying more for next year's taxes.
That's right.
So now your bi-monthly payment that you have to pay, everything's going up.
Yep.
I'm still dumbfounded when I go grocery shopping.
I'm
like, there's no way what I bought. I have not grabbed a full cart ever in my life. I just don't do that. You'll never see me at Costco. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for me to be there, right? But you go in with a small cart and you're buying next to nothing, and you come out with a bill that's like over $100 easily. It's insane how expensive everything is, right?
Yeah.
I'm having a chat with Adnan. He's going to come back. He's the modular shipping container architect engineer.
Oh, yes, heard about him.
He's coming back on the show.
Awesome.
And I'm already picking his brain about a project that I want to work with him on, something that could help us regarding the groceries. right? And I was like telling him, what do you think of this? He goes, that's actually an interesting idea, Manny. I was like, yeah, no, that's right. I don't know how to do it. You know how to do it. So can we chat about this?
Nice.
And we can figure it out. So I think everybody's going to need to, I don't know, figure out new ways of saving money.
Yes.
And it will affect custom rentals.
It will.
It will affect us. And don't please, and all you contractors that are listening, don't race to the bottom. Don't sell yourself short.
No.
Just find better clients.
Yep.
That's all.
Learn to say no.
100%. But the young guys have a hard time saying that, man.
Yeah.
They're nervous. Yes. They don't think that they're going to get a yes any time around the corner, right?
Something you got to learn.
It's just, you got to go vibe.
You just got to feel it, right? You got to learn all those yeses, why you didn't say no. You know, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, no, we cannot do this size project, or no, we cannot do this. It's not right. And another one is reading your client. You know, you can see, I've so many times have said no just because I know that it's going to be a nightmare.
You got a vibe from them?
Yeah, bad vibe.
From both, or from one, or something that they did?
Whichever.
Like what kind of little things did they do or say?
Well, the one that my biggest one is, oh yeah, I'm looking for quotes.
I hate when they do
that. Yeah.
Put the carrot away.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, you know, you already know that you know, they probably already had 2, 3, maybe 1 quote, or no quotes at all.
So they're still looking for their price.
Their price. You're better off just saying you're looking for price instead of, well, do you want quality, right? Do you want, are you time sensitive? You know, a lot of people don't even know like a main floor, they want to live in the house, you know.
If you're gutting everything and dismantling a kitchen, you don't have it working.
Oh, and they want to do it in, they want to do it in the winter.
Dead of winter.
Yeah. Where you can't barbecue and you got to have all the windows closed. And
we need to save money, so we can't Uber.
Right.
And we don't want to barbecue outside. We can't go out because we have no money.
I just told a recent client, listen, the best time to do this is in March. We'll revisit this March and April. Here's your budget. Here's my worksheet. We'll revisit this in March.
How did they respond?
He loved it. He appreciated the honesty. He's like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's huge.
It's huge. You know, he's got 3 kids, wife and himself. He says he can't go to another place. You know, he can't go to a hotel for 6 to 8 weeks.
He needs to stay there.
He's got to stay there. And I says, listen, so it'd be impossible.
Not in the wintertime.
No, not with 3 kids.
No, that's going to be too difficult.
Let's revisit this.
It's just going to put so much stress on the family.
Yeah.
So then what happens when you do that, when you revisit it? Are you reviewing all the numbers again? Because you have to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, things could change.
Of course. Could actually go down a little bit material-wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen 2x4s go up and down, up and down, up and down, $10.99 to $5 to $7 and so on and so forth, right?
What's 2x4 now? Are they still
I know
5?
I just bought.
Last time I checked was 5 something.
I know I just bought 2x2s at $5.29 each.
2x2?
Yeah, brother. So it must be at 7.
So it's gone up.
Yeah.
2x2.
It's like gas.
Hockey stick 2x2?
Hockey stick 2x2.
With the strap on or without the strap?
Without the strap. Now this was even worse.
I get so angry, and I know Carlito on the show has talked several times where he purposely just smashes all the crappy lumber on the floor, and then they'll come up and, why are you doing that, sir? It goes, no, you're going to clean that up. That's why.
Yeah.
Because I think, honestly, that they should have a section for crappy lumber, and it should be discounted.
Absolutely.
If you want us to take it, give us a discount on it.
Absolutely.
But they won't do that. They expect you to pay the full price for this crappy thing, and then you have to figure it out on the job site, which costs your business what? Time and money.
Absolutely.
So there's no reason. You should actually have straight lumber.
Yep.
We're not asking for much, man.
Nope.
Like, it's just we're asking for straight lumber. But they're harvesting too quick. They're milling too soon. They're everything's too quick.
Yep.
Just to get it out there. But
it's changing on weekly or bi-weekly.
Yeah, it is.
I've seen the prices go up and down, up and down.
And I would love the lumber industry to leave a lot more for Canadian tradespeople.
Yes.
Because too much of it is going down south. Nothing against the Americans, but too much of it is going down south, and too much of it is going to Asia.
Yeah.
Way too much of it. Ever since Asia started implementing building with wood. Right? So all of a sudden, there's a market. Let's start working. And we know how much our Prime Minister loves Asia. Right? So.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
It is a tough one, right? So you have any words of encouragement for the younger generation to get into this industry?
Get into a trade.
Just find a passion. You never know. You might actually love it.
Yeah. Like I always found electrical very satisfying.
Really?
Yeah.
It's one of the least favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at what you could do.
Yes.
I love a good looking panel.
I like, yes.
Like a sexy looking panel.
Absolutely.
All you need is a calendar from the 70s right next to it, and it looks amazing, right? But like
more of a lighting, rough-in and lighting perspective, I think.
Yes.
Electrician's fascinating. Also, there's a lot of calc behind it. It's basic calc.
Yeah.
Panel loads and so on and so forth.
Stay in school, kids. You need that if you want to be an electrician.
Especially math. Math is important.
Same with HVAC.
HVAC, yeah.
You need that. You need to figure out house, and there's numbers attached to all that shit. See, cubic feet per minute, all that crap. Or
conversions.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's all attached to it, right?
All attached to it.
And then framing. Man,
that's
I'm stunned
no-brainer.
I'm stunned to realize how many kids have no idea how to read an imperial tape measure.
Oh, really?
They don't know what a 16th, a 32nd, an 8th.
Sad.
They don't know anything about that. And it's like, I don't understand that, man.
That's sad. Which in theory too, I mean, we're in the metric society, which has always confused me. Because even growing up in high school, everything was metric.
America, Canada, British Commonwealth, all imperial. Rest of the world, metric.
Yeah.
But you get Sparkies from Ireland coming here, everything's millimeters.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it's, for whatever reason, I mean, but lumber sold in imperial. Like 2x4 is an 8 foot.
Right.
Right? It's 1.5 by 3.5. So
I think a lot of this, is it mostly the commercial is in metric? I think it's all in metric.
Commercial's all metric.
In millimeters. Yeah.
But I mean, and then it's hard to convert because you've grown up on imperial and
Right.
you're trying to do stuff, and then you're, I don't know, like here, cut it, shave it off a 16th of an inch or whatever, right? You never would say shave it off a millimeter.
Yep.
But millimeters is a little bit bigger than a 16th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it means that you can, a small millimeter, it just sounds weird on a job site.
Yeah, it does.
Canadian or American job site.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always confused with that. Why we, it's almost like you're always converting. Even like how many cubic yards do you need of some backfill or whatever, and then you got to convert it meters and this and that.
Lori had a good, I'm trying to remember it now. Lori from Parkside Building Materials.
Okay.
She had a good formula to calculate. I actually put it in the show notes if everyone can find it. I can't remember. I think it's show number, I'm gonna guess maybe show number 70 or something. It's under the 100s. And Lori from Parkside, she actually has a calculation in there how to figure out how much material you need.
Right.
So she goes, there's a length, width, and depth calculation, and it tells you exactly how many yards you need for whatever material, whether it be gravel, soil, dirt, sand, whatever.
Yeah.
She had a great formula. I just don't remember it because I'm not in hardscaping.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm saying. But what would you tell the kids? What's the biggest misconception for construction? What do they think that they're coming into thinking that this is what it is, but it's not?
Mud, weather, climate, I think is the biggest one. Weight, lifting, safety. I think those are a lot of things, even things that I've thought of throughout my experiences in my career, even working for the union or, informing and stuff like that. Those are, I think, they don't want to be in the mud. They don't want to hurt themselves. They don't want to lift 60-pound bags of concrete or whatever the case, or sand or whatever, right? I think everybody wants their nails cleaned and their feet dry.
I know plenty of tradespeople that get manis and petties, man.
I got to try one. I've never done it.
You never done one?
No, I've never done mani petty.
It's a nice little pampering. It's nice.
No. My wife keeps saying, let's go together. And
It is nice.
Yeah.
Quiet time.
my feet are horrible.
Doesn't matter. Trust me, they've
steel-toe
seen
shoe.
worse hoofs, man. No, trust me, they've seen worse hoofs.
Steel toe shoes.
No, but I mean, like, you're right. You're 100% right. They have this misconception. But I mean, also, listen, man, there's so many products out there.
Yeah.
You can wear a certain kind of footwear that are fully waterproof.
Yeah.
I've got grist ports that are all the way like 16-inch high, fully waterproof, up to minus 40.
Nice.
They actually, I'm sweating. My feet are sweating in those things in the dead of winter. So it's like there's footwear, there's pants, there's garments, there's jackets, there's proper layers, line. So you can actually be out in these elements and be really, really toasty.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just prepare yourself.
Preparing yourself and purchasing the right equipment.
But there's also a sense of accomplishment.
Clothing.
Like Derick, like honestly, like when you're out there on those elements and you build something and you struggled and you formed something to pour and you pulled it off. It was like the worst Mother Nature day.
You remember?
Yes.
I did that.
Then you go back and you're like in the springtime, you go, remember when we got started on this and it was such a shithole, but we pulled it off?
Pulled it off.
And now here we are just finishing the project. Look how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
There's a sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
That's what I love about it.
No. Absolutely.
So as long as they get a better understanding of that, that'd be totally cool.
Yeah, and and the kid, the parents, like we were talking about earlier, to the younger generation, some of them are pulling them into computer engineering or into being lawyers and doctors. Maybe just take a small course or go work with an uncle that's doing rentals or forming.
Get a taste of it.
Get a taste of it.
Yeah.
Go work on a weekend. Go for a Saturday. Figure out what a construction site looks like. You know what I mean? Do it safely. But go figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll twinkle your.
And then imagine the possibilities of when you actually are able to buy a house for yourself.
That is huge.
When the prices drop, hopefully, rates drop, and you're able to. Imagine the work that you could do to your own place.
Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised how many people don't even know how to hang a picture or a drywall anchor.
I've met these people, man.
Well, me too.
I've met these people, and I'm like,
that's why they call us.
Yeah, I know.
Even for a picture.
Seriously, you've
I've
gotten that phone call?
I've gotten that phone call. 13 pictures in Mississauga, Old Dairy Road in Mavis. Hank 13. Some of them were big.
They didn't know they didn't want to, or they just didn't.
No, they wanted it precisely level with a laser level. They wanted a certain height. And
wow.
I was charging per hour. It was like $65 an hour or something like that.
That makes sense. And
there for like 7 hours, 6 and hang pictures.
There's a
business for everything.
Might as well do it.
Hey, there's a business for everything. Whether it's porta potties or hanging pictures.
Everybody is needed somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Derick, we got the 12 questions left.
Yeah.
Everybody, www.dlcinstallations.ca, info@dlcinstallations.ca, and all over social media, DLC Installations. You ready for this?
Let's go.
What is your favorite construction word?
It's a phrase. Time to go fuck off.
Spoken like a Portuguese man. What is your least favorite construction word?
It's an emotion, but it's a word.
Okay.
It's sigh. When someone sighs.
It's like they just don't
Yeah, it's
care.
just like, can you go do this for me quickly upstairs?
Wow.
Okay. I hate the sigh.
Wow.
And it's not a word, but it is a word, but it's an emotion.
It is. I totally
sigh.
What turns you on in construction?
Cutting cedar.
It smells so nice.
I love it. Fresh cedar.
Summer day.
I've done a few like tongue and groove cedar soffits.
Yeah.
I look for those.
That's nice.
The next humid day, select cedar.
Shit's expensive today.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Last time it was it $8 a foot, your foot or something.
I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to look at it. What turns you off in construction?
What turns me off in construction? I don't know. So, you know what? The biggest one would probably be like consumers or clients trying to do our job. And it's not really about construction. It's more business, I guess, with me. But it's, you hired us. Let us do our job.
Like they're trying to navigate?
Navigate navigate. That's a good word. Yeah, that's probably in my industry right now is one of the toughest ones. It's just kind of let us do our job. You hired us for a reason. You know, you didn't call a doctor to do your renos. You need to go get prescriptions. You go to a doctor. You wanted to get your reno done. You contacted us. You signed your contract. You accepted. Let us do our job. So now I'm not trying to say that I don't want to listen to my client.
No, of course not.
I want to. I love input. Hey, Derick, you want to do this differently? It's more of the, can we use a different material, or can we use
because they've done all kinds of research.
Right.
But they've never used it.
Right.
They've never installed it.
Yeah.
They don't know about it.
The difference between LVT, like let's say luxury vinyl tile, between a laminate.
Yeah.
And the pros and cons.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my business right now would be that. Just
cooler.
Let us do our job.
It's cooler to say LVT than it is to say laminate. That's
Absolutely.
All it is. It's just cool factor.
Sounds like a Mustang. electric Mustang or something.
My biggest problem with
SVT.
when I get a client that just says, listen, we don't need you to paint. We'll just paint it ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm the bells just go off on that one.
Or I'll get my brother.
All the work is done. Everything's done properly. It's perfect. And then all we need now is just to apply the coat, and you want to do it yourself. Okay.
That's
I'm sorry, but painting is still the trade.
That's the
and a very important trade too. Yeah, that one I don't like.
Yeah, that's the basis of where I was trying to
get to.
I will
roll my eyes and just like, I'll probably say something.
Yeah.
Because you can't. It's,
oh, can I take all? Oh, that was a good one. Can I take all the, instead of you charging me the bin, can you put it all in my garage and I'll go with my brother-in-law with his truck to the dump?
Why? You're carrying the rubble.
Just to save the bin.
Just to put, like, why dump it in the garage? Just carry a few more steps and into the bin. So what, save $400, $500?
Right? No, and we did it. You probably spent 2-3 hours, gas, and maybe $100 at your local dump.
Did they realize that they made a mistake?
Not really.
They wouldn't have brought it up.
No, because in their eyes, they say like $350, $400.
That's how they look at it. What is your favorite curse word or phrase?
Foda-se caralho.
What is your favorite vehicle?
I'm going to go with the Dodge Viper. ACR.
When did they stop making that?
Just recently.
They just ended it recently?
Yeah, I want to say 2 years ago, 3 years ago. What, 20?
I thought it was longer.
2020?
Oh, really?
2019, maybe.
They stopped.
I don't think there's a 2020 Viper. No.
Really, eh?
It's 2019.
But they only ever did 2 models or 2 body types, right? They never changed it other than that.
97, 99.
They had the original.
Yeah.
And then they modified it a few years after that.
Yeah.
Did they modify?
That's when the SRT came in.
Yeah.
SRT team.
So then what did they do?
And then they modified it afterwards. One more time. And that was with Fiat.
That's probably why.
The last two. So the last 2 were Fiat.
But Shelby had nothing to do with it.
No.
No, that's interesting. Least favorite vehicle in the world?
Anything Volvo. I hate Volvo. They're not even nice looking cars.
No, they haven't.
I'm sorry if you own a Volvo.
No, they haven't evolved. I don't think they've evolved properly along with other car manufacturers.
I remember even getting into like an old mid-90s, late 90s Land Rover.
Okay.
Man, it was nothing appealing, and it was an expensive. Like
it was a hugely expensive crap.
Yeah,
I know.
I think it was a Discovery or something like that.
There's lots of service attached to those vehicles. Man.
Absolutely, they're money pits.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
Any pneumatic tool, a roofing nailer, a framing nailer.
So you haven't gone down the battery route? No,
I have.
Okay.
Especially like brad nailer. I do own 2 framing nailers, cordless, and I own air as well. It all depends on the job.
But the sound of the air, man,
is the best. Especially a roofer when it's like ta 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 ta.
It's so rhythmic, man. What construction sound or noise do you hate?
No noise.
Yeah.
Or
applies nervousness.
Honestly, jackhammer.
It's loud.
Yeah. Even with hearing protection, it's
still
obnoxious.
Piercing, man.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Policing.
Cop?
Yeah. But more like it would be like emergency task force. Helping the community. Like helping the community would and I don't know if it's just movies and a TV series that I watch, but I have a real big gauge like of policing. I actually know quite a few police and various divisions, and some of them are clients, some of them are friends and high school friends,
nice.
And I've got a little bit of entry in there, and then it leads to paramedics and so on and so forth. But it would be policing.
Good.
Policing.
What profession would you never like to do?
Traffic signaler in minus 30 degrees.
Stop slow. Stop slow.
In minus 30. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I see all these guys and girls, they're always on their phone in one hand and the stop and slow in the other. Your job is to pay attention to vehicular traffic in a live setting, not what's going on social media right now.
Now, is the company liable for that?
I don't know what the rules are, but every time I drive by them, they're on their phone.
Oh, I see it too, man.
I don't get it.
I see it too.
I know your job is shit.
Yep.
I know that it sucks, but it's a really important job. And if you miss something, someone can get hurt.
Right.
Right. So it's
it's no different than distracted driving.
It's true.
People still do it.
It's true.
3 points, $670 fine.
I know.
People still do it. It's sad.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Want to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Want to go back and do it again.
Nice.
Whether you start at 10 or 20 years old or 25 or right back from newborn. But do you want to go back and do it again?
All right, so I like that.
Yeah.
Derek, absolute pleasure, man, to have you on
Manny.
the show and meet you finally and talk. And
likewise, man.
I love what you shared, and I'm sure that someone's listening, man, paying
Yeah,
attention
yeah.
to this,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
I really appreciate it, man. Everybody, again, www.dlcinstallations.ca, info@dlcinstallations.ca, and on social media, DLC Installations, man.
Appreciate it.
We are out of here. Thank you very much, Angelina. We're gone. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Manny. Appreciate it. Cheers.